Welcome to your Palm Beach Guide, the podcast where we go behind the scenes of one of the most storied business communities in the country, right here on the island. I'm Kiana Rivera, Chief Advancement Officer of the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, and today we're doing something a little special. We're pulling back the curtain on one of the Palm Beach Chamber's most beloved and honestly most underestimated assets, the Palm Beach Guide. Now, if you're a chamber member, you've seen it. You may have held it in your hands, placed it in your lobby, or flipped through it while waiting for your coffee. But today, I want to talk about what this publication actually represents for our community, for our members, and for the story of Palm Beach itself. We're going to cover the history and vision behind the guide, get into the artistry that defines its look, including the extraordinary work of our cover artist, Nick Mealy, and talk about what it means for you as a chamber member or business leader to be a part of something this powerful. This is not just a magazine story. This is a story about legacy, brand, and what happens when a community chooses to invest in excellence. Let's get into it. Let's start at the beginning. What is the Palm Beach Guide and why does it matter? At its core, the Palm Beach Guide is the Chamber's flagship luxury publication, our annual magazine that captures the very best of Palm Beach, the businesses, the culture, the lifestyle, the people who make this island what it is. But calling it a magazine almost undersells it. This is a curated piece of content, the kind of publication that sits on a coffee table in a Worth Avenue boutique, gets picked up in a 5-star hotel lobby, and is handed to a new resident who just moved here from New York or London or Beverly Hills, trying to understand the fabric of this community. The guide serves as a very specific and very intentional purpose. It is both a business resource and a cultural document. It tells visitors, prospective members, and longtime residents alike, this is Palm Beach. This is the standard, and this is who we are. And that positioning is not accidental. The Palm Beach Chamber has always understood that our community doesn't operate like a typical chamber market. We're not in the business of generic commerce. We represent a marketplace defined by excellence, discretion, and reputation. The businesses that call Palm Beach home are not just local shops, they are legacy institutions, world-class hospitality brands, bespoke service providers, and influential nonprofits that shape culture both here and nationally. The Palm Beach Guide reflects all of that. Every page is a deliberate editorial choice, an affirmation that what happens here and who operates here is worth documenting beautifully. Distribution matters too, and ours is extraordinary. The guide is distributed directly to 15,000 residences across Palm Beach. And beyond that, every guest room at the Breakers Palm Beach, the Four Seasons Palm Beach, and Palm House receives a copy. Think about who is staying in those rooms. Executives, tastemakers, investors, families considering a second home here, international visitors experiencing Palm Beach for the very first time. These are exactly the readers who shape decisions, build relationships, and invest in communities. This isn't a mass distribution for the sake of numbers. This is a precision placement, the right content in the right hands in the most influential spaces on the island. And that distinction is exactly why the guide has become such a valued member benefit. But more on that in a moment, because first, I want to talk about what makes the Palm Beach Guide look the way it does. Before we go further, I want to take a moment to talk about the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, the organization behind everything you're hearing today. If you've been thinking about joining, or if you're already a member and you want to make sure the right people in your network know what's available to them, I want you to hear this directly. The Palm Beach Chamber is not a networking group. It's a strategic community. When you become a member, you're not just getting a listing in a directory. You're gaining access to a curated network of Palm Beach's most respected business leaders, executives, and community influencers. You're gaining visibility through premium touch points, including the Palm Beach Guide. You're gaining a seat at the table at invitation-only events, roundtables, and signature galas that define the social and business calendar of this island. Membership is designed for businesses and professionals who understand that in Palm Beach, relationships are currency, and the chamber is where those relationships are built and maintained with intention. If you're ready to invest in your presence in this community, I'd love to hear from you. Visit us at palmbeachchamber.com or reach out to our team directly. We'd be honored to welcome you. Now let's talk about Nick Mealy. If you know Palm Beach, you know the name, and if you don't yet, you're about to. Nick Mealy is one of the most celebrated photographers working in Palm Beach today. His work is immediately recognizable, luminous, romantic, painterly in its composition. He doesn't just photograph Palm Beach. He interprets it. He finds the quality of light on the water at dusk, the architecture that looks like it was designed to be photographed, the moments between the moments where the real character of a place lives. Partnering with Nick Mealy on the Palm Beach Guide is not a casual decision, it's a statement. It's the chamber saying, we take this publication seriously enough to build a true creative partnership with one of the finest visual storytellers this community has ever produced. This wasn't a transaction, it was a collaboration, a shared vision between the chamber and an artist who cares as deeply about the island as we do. And when you hold the guide in your hands, you feel that. The cover isn't just attractive, it's evocative. It draws you in. It creates an immediate emotional response, a feeling that says this is Palm Beach, and this is something worth preserving. Photography like Nick's does something that great editorial photography is supposed to do. It elevates everything else on the page. When your publication opens with that kind of image, the message to the reader, before they've read a single word, is that what follows will be equally considered, equally refined. The cover sets the tone for the entire reader experience. There's also something deeply meaningful about the fact that Nick Mealy is part of this community. He's not a vendor hired for a generic shoot. He's someone who lives and breathes Palm Beach, who has documented this island across seasons and decades. When his lens finds a moment here, it's not the gaze of an outsider. It's the gaze of someone who belongs, who knows the difference between a beautiful image of Palm Beach and a true image of Palm Beach. That authenticity matters immensely in a market like ours. Our members are sophisticated. They notice when something is curated with care versus assembled for efficiency. Nick's work signals immediately that this publication was made with love, with a genuine commitment to honoring the place it represents. For our members whose businesses, properties, or brands that are featured in the guide, to have your name appear in pages opened by Nick Mealy's photography is to be placed in an extraordinarily elevated context. That's not marketing speak. That's the reality of what great visual art does for everything it surrounds. I'd encourage anyone listening, whether you're a longtime fan of his work or discovering him for the first time through this conversation, to seek out his photography. His body of work on Palm Beach is, and in my view, one of the most compelling visual archives of this island in existence. Now let's shift gears and talk about what the Palm Beach Guide means specifically for chamber members, because this is where the story gets really interesting from a business perspective. The guide is one of the most tangible, high visibility member benefits the chamber offers, and it's one that keeps working long after it's printed. Think about the life cycle of this publication. It's produced once a year, but it circulates for the full 12 months that follow. It sits in offices, in hotel rooms, in waiting areas. It gets referenced, passed along, picked up by visitors who take it home. In a world where digital content disappears in seconds, a beautifully produced print publication has staying power. Your presence in the Palm Beach Guide doesn't expire at midnight. It lives on in the physical world in a way that social media posts or digital ads simply cannot replicate. For members who are featured, Whether through editorial coverage, advertising, or directory listings, the guide offers something genuinely rare: prestige placement in a trusted, community-endorsed publication. This isn't paid outreach on a platform that doesn't know your client. This is a curated publication produced by the Chamber and distributed to an audience that already trusts us. When your business appears in these pages, you are benefiting from the decades of credibility and relationships the Palm Beach Chamber has built. There's also the networking dimension. When the guide releases, it creates a moment, a genuine point of community pride and conversation. Members celebrate being featured. Clients call to congratulate. Partnerships form around the simple, shared experience of seeing your community reflected beautifully back to you. That kind of organic relationship building is worth more than almost any line item in a marketing budget. And for members who are newer to Palm Beach, businesses that are establishing themselves, building their reputations, earning their place in this community, inclusion in the guide is an accelerant. It signals legitimacy. It places your name in the same pages as institutions that have been here for generations. That is an extraordinary head start. The guide is also a tool. Members use it as a leave behind at meetings, a reference for clients who ask, "What should I know about Palm Beach?" A gift for new hires or visitors who are discovering the island for the first time. It functions as a portable ambassador for everything the Chamber and this community represent. I want to take a quick moment to highlight some of what Palm Beach Chamber has coming up. Because membership isn't just about the guide, it's about the full experience of being connected to this community at the highest level. The Chamber hosts some of Palm Beach's most anticipated signature events throughout the year, from our annual awards celebration to our business after hours to roundtables, luncheons, and exclusive member experiences that bring together leaders from across every sector. These aren't just networking events. They are moments, the kind of evenings and gatherings that define relationships and open doors. We also offer programs specifically designed to support your business growth, from leadership development and visibility opportunities to press coverage that puts your brand in front of the right audiences. If you're a member and you haven't been taking full advantage of what's available to you, I want to personally encourage you to reach out to our team. We are here not just to be a strategic partner to your business, not just an annual fee on a spreadsheet, but a true partner. And if you're not a member yet, come find out what you've been missing. Visit palmbeachchamber.com to learn more and start the conversation. I want to zoom out for a moment and talk about why all of this, the guide, the artistry, the member benefit, matters beyond any individual business or any single edition of a publication. When an organization commits to producing something like the Palm Beach Guide at this level of quality, with real editorial intention, with the contribution of artists like Nick Mealy, with the care and curation that goes into every page, it is making a statement about the standards of this community. That matters, especially now. We are in an era where content is infinite and attention is scarce, where AI can generate 1,000 generic articles in seconds, where the distinction between quality and quantity have never been more important. In that environment, the decision to produce something beautiful, considered, and genuinely reflective of a place is not just an aesthetic choice. It is a strategic one. The Palm Beach Guide signals to the world that this community invests in itself, that the businesses and leaders who call Palm Beach home believe their story is worth telling well. That standards here are not negotiable, not in commerce, not in hospitality, not in culture, and not in print. That signal radiates outward. It reaches prospective residences and businesses who are deciding where to plant roots. It reaches luxury brands evaluating their markets. It reaches the media, the philanthropic community, the cultural institutions that look to Palm Beach as a bellwether for how a certain kind of excellence can still exist in a noisy world. and it reaches our members every time they pick up a copy and see their community reflected with the dignity and beauty it deserves. I think about the role the Chamber plays in this, and I feel genuinely proud. We are not a passive institution. We are not simply a dues collecting organization that exists because it always has. We are an active steward of this community's brand, its identity, its standards, and its story. The Palm Beach Guide is one of the clearest expressions of that stewardship, and Nick Mealy's work on the cover is one of the clearest expressions of the Guide's commitment to doing that stewardship beautifully. So as we close out today, I want to leave you with a thought. There are a lot of things competing for our attention and our resources in any given year. Events, campaigns, digital strategies, partnerships. The list is long and the calendar fills fast. And sometimes in all of that activity, we can overlook the things that are quietly, consistently doing something that most people don't see. Consistently doing some of the most important work. The Palm Beach Guide is one of those things. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't demand attention with a pop-up or an algorithm. It simply exists, beautifully produced and carefully distributed and deeply trusted, doing its work every single day in lobbies and boardrooms and hotel suites across this island. If you're a member and you haven't thought about your present in the Guide recently, I'd invite you to reach out to the Chamber and have that conversation. Ask how you can be featured. How can you leverage your placement? How can you make sure that when someone picks up this publication and turns to your page or sees your name in its listings, they're getting the very best version of who you are? And if you're not yet a member, if you've been listening to this episode and thinking about what it meant or means to be formally connected to this community, I want to make this simple. Call us, email us, come find us, come to an event. We are here to serve as a partner to your success in Palm Beach, and there is no better time to begin that partnership than right now. The Palm Beach Guide comes out once a year. Your window to be a part of it is real and worth claiming. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone in your network who loves Palm Beach as much as we do. Leave us a review, follow us wherever you listen to podcasts, stay connected with the Chamber at palmbeachchamber.com. Until next time, I'm Kiana Rivera, and this has been your Palm Beach Guide.